Hello, Four Star Nation, and welcome back to another episode of Four Star Sports Show. I am Wes Pruitt. John Sturdivant is also in here, and special guest this afternoon is one Mr. Bob Rush. Bob, thank you for being on the show with us today.
My pleasure. Let me just get my Wi-Fi hold up here.
John, go ahead.
Well, Bob, Bob, you played at the University of Memphis. Well, they called it Memphis State back in the day. I still call it University of Memphis because I'm in that age bracket where they called it the University of Memphis. But talk about your college career at the University of Memphis, Bob.
I was there 73 through 76. Some pretty good teams. A lot of talent. A lot of folks got into the from there.
Bob, talk a little bit about just what it was like to be at the University. I'm sorry, well, at Memphis State back then, and talk a little bit about some of the opponents that you played against in that era.
We had pretty good schedules. We played a lot of SEC schools: Tennessee, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Auburn. Throw Florida State in there, different conference. But we had some pretty good opponents back then.
You know, another team that nobody really talked about in your schedule was in 1974. Y'all went into Colorado Springs and played Colorado State pretty well and beat them 20-18, or 28-18 back then as well. But like you said, Bobby, you know, y'all beat Auburn, y'all beat Florida State, and that was pretty much, I think, a good some quality wins for the Memphis State program back in the day.
Okay, I think I've lost you here.
You said, Bobby, no, y'all beat Auburn, y'all beat Florida State.
Tried some.
Try to repeat myself, Wes. No, Bob. What I was saying was
ask him one more time, John.
I was saying Wes or Bob. I was saying y'all beat Colorado State at Colorado State as well in your playing career as well. Going into Colorado State and getting that victory is a pretty good win as well back in the day.
Can you hear us, Bob?
I can hear you now. Yeah, I had to dump Wi-Fi and go to data, so
okay.
We'll see what happens.
Talk a little bit about that big win against Colorado State during your playing career.
Oh man, that was wild. That was my sophomore year, and at the end of the game, they had a kicker who I was told was a little squirrely going in, and sure enough, he missed a gimme to give us the win. The funny thing was, when I was with San Diego, the guy picked after me, Lyndon King, he was on that team at Colorado State, so we had we had a lot of good chuckles about that. What a party!
Talk a little bit about talk a little bit about some of the other players that were at the university that also went pro like you.
Well, there was myself, offensive tackle Bob Jordan, drafted by the Giants. Eric Harris went to the Canadian League, but would have been a first-round pick. Eventually wound up playing with the Chiefs and I think the Rams. Turdell Middleton made All-Pro with the Green Bay Packers. Later on, Keith Butler and Keith Simpson both wound up at Seattle, and Keith Wright wound up with the Cleveland Browns.
Nice combination there.
Yeah, it is. Go ahead, John.
Bob, talk about what your head coach Richard Williams was like back in the day. Bob, can you talk about your coach and Coach Williams for our listeners?
Hey, Bob.
Yo.
Talk a little bit about Coach. Yes, sir. Talk a little bit about Coach Williams that you had back in the day.
Well, Coach Williamson, we called him the Hammer for good reason. He was right out of Alabama, definitely a Bear Bryant disciple, and at first he kind of made us all a little nervous because really strict disciplinarian, but I loved the man. Got to work with him later at Kansas City, where he was our wide receiver coach. Good man.
Bob, talk a little bit about just how much the game has changed from the time you've played until, I mean, I'm sure you're obviously still following the Memphis Tiger program currently. Talk a little bit about the current product, and then also talk a little bit about how the game has evolved from back then till now.
Changed quite a bit, really. I mean, the spread offense, I think, is probably the biggest difference. Of course, there's been a lot of rule changes. What we refer to as pad levels have gotten a lot higher. We used to spend, as the guys in the trenches, we used to spend a lot of time on the ground and on people's legs, and they don't do much of that anymore. Everybody kind of stands up, and it's become a sumo match instead of offensive line play.
What are your thoughts on the product that's on the field now? Do you enjoy watching your university, for example, last year at College Game Day? I mean, what does it feel like as a Memphis alum to have that kind of bright lights on the university?
Oh, I was really thrilled. I mean, the program's come a long way. I like what they're doing. I like where they're going. And they put a good product out there. They've managed to have a couple of really good plug-in type quarterbacks, and have really put on some wild offensive statistics.
Go ahead, John.
Bob, what can you tell us about when you joined the M Club Hall of Fame for our listeners as well?
Hey, Bob, what can you tell us about what an honor it was to join the M Club Hall of Fame for Memphis?
Well, that was great. That was, I think that happened my first or second year doing the broadcasting. And, it's a bit of a surprise, but it was a lot of fun. The worst part was I had to walk all the way down from the press box onto the field and then try to get back up on the field, up in the press box rather, in time to do the broadcast with my dearly departed buddy Paul Hartledge. But it was a real honor, certainly.
Talk a little bit about what it was like to do the radio broadcast for the school.
I enjoyed that. I did it for a total of 21 years, and eventually had to give it up because primarily health reasons. I had a lot of trouble getting around with old back and knee injuries, and the travel was just a little bit more than I could handle. But I really enjoyed that time. It was kind of neat, really staying close to the players for that long a period.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about Dave Woloshin. Of course, he is now the voice of the university. Did y'all have a close relationship?
Oh yeah, Wolo and I. He's doing the television part of the time, I believe, while Paul Hartley did it. And then after Paul passed away, Wolo took over. Wolo not quite as entertaining off the field as Paul was, but we had a lot of good times together. Wolo's a good man.
He's got some iconic calls in the past few years for sure. John, you got anything else for him?
Okay, Bob, can you talk about your playing days in the San Diego Chargers organization first? Go ahead, Wes.
Talk a little bit about your playing or the time in San Diego playing in the NFL, Bob.
Well, that was a real thrill. I mean, my first game was a preseason game against the Cowboys, and never thought I'd be standing across the field from Tom Landry and that bunch. That was a real pinch me moment, sure. But was there for 6 years, active 5. My second year, I managed to destroy me in the very first scrimmage of preseason against none other than the Cowboys once again. But I enjoyed my time there. We had some good times. Came within 2 games of going to the Super Bowl twice. That was exciting.
Wow.
Good time.
Now, were you there with? Can you talk about a little bit about all the players that were on that team with you?
Oh yeah, we had some great ones. Kellen Winslow, Dan Fouts, Fred Dean. Gosh, there were so many of them. Some great defensive players: Willie Buchanan, Glenn Edwards, Rick Munson on offense. John Jefferson, Wes Chandler, Louis Kelcher, Gary Big Johnson. We had
wow.
Yeah,
wow, there was some absolute legends on that team. Wow.
Oh yeah, there was.
Did you say you're lucky to be alive?
Yeah, after practice. Let me tell you something. The step from college to pro is huge. And when I showed up there as an offensive lineman, the Chargers had 3 all-pro defensive linemen. Big Hands Johnson, Louis Kelcher, and of course Fred Dean. And that is not a way for a rookie to get broke in.
No.
All right, Bob. I'm gonna put you on the spot with this one.
Sure.
What's your craziest moment and most memorable moment from your college playing career, and also from your NFL career?
Whoa, that's a tough one. Probably in college, it was the first time we beat Auburn at their place. I think they were ranked 6th in the nation. And we put a spanking on them down there at their place, and consequently beat them at their place the next year. Pro football, gosh, that's hard to say. A lot of big ups and downs. Probably the game against the Steelers in '79. We drummed them pretty good. I think it was 37-6 or something like that. But that was a great time too. Of course, we had the game in Miami, the triple-double overtime, whatever it was. And then the following week, we got to all go to Cincinnati for the AFC Championship game and got to meet 59 below zero wind chills.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was memorable.
I'd say it was.
Well, the wind was blowing, and just coincidentally, every time we got the football, they opened the big gate at the end of the end zone and let the wind in. So we had a big.
Bob, give me your best road atmosphere in college and in the NFL.
That's pretty easy in the NFL. It's got to be Pittsburgh. Such a legendary place.
Wow. Okay.
And gosh, on the road in college, boy, that's really hard to say. I mean, I can't exactly say that Wichita State was a lovely place. But I suppose the games in New Orleans playing Tulane, that's probably the best road. You have to keep in mind that when you're on the road, college or pro, all you ever get to see is the airport, the hotel, and the stadium.
That's a good point.
Yeah, no fun allowed. At least not that I'm willing to talk about.
No
All right,
parties on
Bob.
Mardi Gras.
What was your toughest team you faced in the college ranks and also in your professional ranks?
We always had real battles with Mississippi State, that's for sure. They had an excellent nose guard, a guy named Harvey Hull. He was an All-American. He was a handful. And the pros would kind of be either between the Raiders and the Steelers. Howie Long, I had to deal with him more than once. Did pay me a great compliment. Well, he paid me a great compliment. He said if he had a gun, he'd shoot me. So I consider that a compliment. And then, of course, Pittsburgh, I had to deal with Joe Green. That was a handful.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, what's it like to do with Mean Joe Green?
Let me tell you, Joe Green, people think he's a big galoot, but I got news for you. He's a very, very smart player. Quick, strong, really knows his stuff. And he's a class act too. We were beating him pretty bad, and it got a little bit pushy and shovey. And he was the first guy to tell his teammates, be a man. They whipped us fair and square. I was impressed.
Yeah. Good. Very good. Very good. Bob, when it comes to the NFL, and you look back at all the greats, of course, you played with Dan Fouts. Give me your Mount Rushmore of NFL quarterbacks.
Well, I definitely have to include Fouts there. Marino, certainly Joe Namath. A lot of people. It's hard because of the generational thing. People don't realize Joe Namath completed less than 50% of his passes, but he had to call all his own plays. Not so much with the later guys. Yeah, and of course there's Joe Montana and Tom Brady. I happen to be a Brady fan, but I've been a lot of good ones. This kid with the
all right, Bob.
Right, Mahomes.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mahomes is unbelievable. Give me your Mount Rushmore for Memphis Tiger football players.
Oh my goodness. Well,
yeah, we asked tough questions
definitely
here.
Harry Shue.
We asked the tough questions here, Bob.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. It would be Harry Shue right up there, and in my neck of the woods with the offensive lineman. Isaac Bruce, of course, D'Angelo Williams, Danny Wimprine. Lloyd Patterson, a quarterback I played with.
Yeah.
Some great ones over the years. I'm sure I'm leaving a bunch out.
Well, Bob, we've been on for roughly 20 minutes, and it's been a great, absolutely great interview with you. One last question before we get you off here. What have you been up to since your radio days? What have you been up to since then? Are you just kind of enjoying the retired life?
Well, no, I retired from the radio. I guess it's been 10, 12 years ago. Most of my life outside of football has been in the medical field, working in medical sales. I was in medical supply for a number of years, and then pharmaceutical sales for a number of years after that. And my last semi-retirement job was working at a gun shop. I'm a big firearms guy.
Really?
Big Second Amendment guy. Somewhat of a gunsmith. Been working on them for years and years. So for about my last 10 years, I worked at a local gun shop here and did a little of that kind of work, and finally retired from all of that at the end of 2020.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Once again, we have had Bob Rush on with us today. It's been a great interview with Bob. We are currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch currently. Thank you for everybody who has been watching this interview today. Also, for everyone out there watching, please sure to reach out to our website. It's 4starsportshow.live. But once again, Bob Rush has been on with us this afternoon for about the past 20 minutes or so. Bob, you've done a great job today. Thank you very much from the 4-Star Sports Show. We'd love to have you back on sometime again.
Anytime, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Bob.
All right. Thank you very much, Bob. Everybody, for the 4-Star Sports Show, we will be back tomorrow. Thanks, guys.